Welcome, everybody, to the second episode of Ranger Things, a monthly podcast focused on the first 100% community-based organization on the WildRP server, the Saints Crossing Ranger Corps. To give a little background on the Rangers, our bread and butter is currently in search and rescues, where a player in the server gets incapacitated and it's up to us to find them and escort them safely to town, sometimes having to perform some kind of first aid or stabilization and making sure they get seen by a proper medic or something if it's within our control. We're also usually expert hunters and have vast knowledge of the entire crossing when it comes to animal hunting grounds, predator dens, herb locations, and more. I'm ArmoredAndy, your host, and I currently play Head Ranger Buzz Buxton on the server. Every successful Head Ranger needs support from the Rangers as a whole, and those most dedicated to the core are Game Wardens. Currently, there are 2 Game Wardens within the Rangers, Walker and Catriona Carver. And maybe we'll be seeing someone else offer to step up into the position soon. We'll just have to wait and see. But today, it is my pleasure to welcome the determined, vastly knowledgeable, and kind-hearted player of Game Warden Catriona Carver. That is FloralFoxes. Above being the sweetest person in the WildRP server, she's also an extremely talented artist, and you can see her work on her Ko-Fi page, which will be provided in chat. Welcome, Floral.
Oh, wait.
There you are. Wait, do you have to leave?
There we go.
Do you have to leave?
No.
Oh.
No. I wasn't sure if I had it muted or not. Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Can I just say, first off, anytime I'm on as Buzz and I see a cat walking around or doing her thing, it just brings a smile to my face. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a feeling of safety, but it's just knowing, she's there and she's safe. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, during your interview for the Rangers, you were robbed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that was, okay, so technically she didn't actually get robbed, but there was a robbery. I think everybody else got robbed, but she was the only one who didn't. Because I think they started talking to her and then I guess they felt bad or something. So they just didn't rob her, but they did end up robbing everyone else.
As they should.
Wow.
Shame on them.
I think she's managed to talk her way out of 6 or 7 robberies now.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Well, see,
she's only been robbed twice.
That's something I really want to I've played a crim here and there. But honestly, I would say a lot of crims, not to, pass judgment or anything, but as a role player, there should always be a chance for somebody to role play their way out of being robbed. It's just, you got to have the right formula, you got to have the right replies or something, compared to otherwise it just becomes a win mentality. You know what I mean? At least that's how
Definitely.
I feel. So.
Yeah, no, I'd be the same.
I honestly think people are just like, oh my God, this gal has the voice of an angel. We can't take, maybe we'll take $2 and that's it.
I don't know.
All right. We are going to start getting into the questions. And this is a reminder to anybody in chat, you are more than welcome to throw a question or two in and we will get to them as we go. So to kick us off, Floral, how long have you been role-playing on the Wild server?
So I actually looked it up today because I wanted to know, and I'm actually on Wild for 1 year today.
This is your 1 year. Whoa. It's like I planned this or something.
Yep. I went back and I looked for the acceptance message, and yeah, I saw it was today. So I was like, oh, so cute.
Now, where have you roleplayed before? What previous roleplay experience do you have?
So I did a small bit of roleplay on PRC.
Uh-huh.
I think I was like roleplaying there for like 1 or 2 months before. And then I ended up applying to Wild and then I got in. So I ended up just playing here, and apart from that, I used to do like IRL D&D and that's kind of everything. So yeah, it was mostly just like D&D with friends.
Let's talk about the application process with Wild. Were you terrified?
Yeah, and I think as well, like I don't know, I just sound so nervous all the time. And so I went into like the voice call of it, and they were just really nice, like they were just really sweet. And so I went from doing this to having to do the like, well, I just like tried out a few different voices and stuff. So I went off mic and then I came back and was like, I don't know what you're talking about. For like, and it was so funny. So I was like, okay, I'm really nervous out of character, but I was like, when I'm in character, like it's not an issue for me. Like I can be a lot more outgoing and like talk a lot more. So yeah, so it was actually like not the worst. It was definitely nerve-wracking, but I think the staff were just really nice about it, so it didn't really worry me too much.
It really is disarming, because I remember when I guess I'll call it audition, or I applied, but it was very disarming when you got to actually just sit down and talk to them, and they just kind of laid it out as, as they do. It made it feel first very welcoming. I thought I was not going to get in, let alone the first time. But I guess it was right. I you strike when the iron's hot. This was before there started to be a huge influx of people coming in on the daily. And so luckily, because let's see, it's March, end of April or early May is when I got into the server. It's going to be coming up on 2 years. Buzz Buxton has been in the server for 2 years.
So cute.
It's horrible.
It's actually adorable. But
He needs to die.
No, he doesn't.
Yes.
He doesn't.
Yes.
He's not allowed.
I did always think that like there should be those like pillars of roleplay, like people that are all that would always be there. But I mean, to everything there is a season, right? So.
Yeah, but not Buzz. He's not allowed. He's so cute. I love him so much.
Aww.
No, he actually makes me so happy as a character. Like, and like you said about if you see Cat, it makes you happy. Like for me, Buzz is like that. Like he's just so adorable, and like the fact he looks like Robin Williams as well, I can't get over. I just start crying because he's so cute.
When I made him, that was one of I said, I want to see if I can make somebody look like Robin Williams. And we have Macho in the chat who plays Game Warden Bear Walker. And he says, that's why we've been so focused on increasing Ranger numbers so Buzz can finally die.
No.
You are not wrong, Macho. You are not wrong. So Floral, what makes you excited to roleplay in Red Dead Redemption 2? Like, is it I know where you're from. If you want to reveal that to, I mean, you don't have to say the town or whatever, but the country. Yeah. Have you had an affinity for Westerns, or is it just the beauty of the game? But what makes you excited to roleplay in Red Dead 2?
Yeah, so like I'm from Ireland, and it's like, I don't know, it's really different because I was never really into Westerns per se. Like, I think it's just more, I started playing, I think it was Skyrim was the first like proper RPG that I played, and then after that I just kind of got hooked on it. But like I've always been such a nerd for like history of any kind, so for me I much prefer the idea of that and like having the like immersive aspect of it, especially seeing how creative people get, because, you know, you see people, especially in like the medics and stuff, you'll find that they like will research everything back to when it was back then. And like, I just love hearing about it. Like, I remember there was a few days ago you brought up in character that like ketchup was like invented back then or something, and I was like, oh, I did not know that. So like, I just love learning anything about what happened back then, and then as well, I think just like having such a good group of peers, because I actually used to watch WildRP before I started even doing any kind of RP on PRC. So I just kind of, Wild was the first like server that I ever saw as well. So it was the first time I saw people ever doing RP. And yeah, I just thought it was so cool because it's just like jumping into like a game where every single NPC you can actually talk to and find out their lore in real life time. So I just thought that's so cool.
It is. It's so. Who were some of the first? Who were some of the first people you watched? If you can remember.
I started watching. I think Peppo was the first one I started watching. And then I think I started watching. I really liked Pip when I saw the character Pip in the Cattleman gang, and then I kind of just branched out from there and watched a few people. And then I ended up eventually like getting into Wild and got to actually see those characters and interact with them. So that was really cool.
I knew a couple people that through a mutual streamer friend of mine, who there were two of them that played on the server, and I watched and I was just in awe. And I said, there's no way I could do that. And this is coming from a guy that I have a filmmaking degree. I've acted, I've directed, I've written, I've done a lot. And I still thought, no way. I can't stay in character for that long. I like a take 2 or a take 3 or a take 10 where I could step back and gather my thoughts and go at it from a different angle. But they convinced, they kept saying, listen, just apply, prepare for this, prepare for that. And before you know it, you're going to be in. And now like 2 years down the road, I can't not be in the server. And so it has been, and then, yeah, being able to just watch a couple other people as examples and say, oh, they're doing this, or just, yeah, then going into research. Cause these, you know, I am a big Western fan. I find, being, and I'm not, I'm not pro America or nothing, but it's the fact that the westward expansion is one of the only like the American Western is one of the only things we have. Granted, they make Westerns, in Italy and Spain and Australia and stuff, but just the idea of this great migration across the country where a lot of people did not make it, but a lot of people did in terms of fortune, searching for fortune or just making a new life for themselves and their family, and all the different stories that can come along with it. Because everybody thinks it's just, oh, cowboys, shoot them up, chase, but it's like, no, there's so many more ideas of a Western that can take place in the server or in movies and books and in anything, as long as it kind of takes place around that time period. It's truly, I loved it. I absolutely love it. Now, so you got into the server, congratulations. After playing for a while, what made you interested in the Rangers?
So like, to be honest, I always liked the idea of the Rangers from like out of character standpoint, but I didn't actually know in character if Kat would go for it because I wasn't sure if she was like hardy enough for it or if she had like that grit. But then she was like suggested to join the Rangers twice, and the first time she actually dismissed it and was like, oh no, I wouldn't be good for the Rangers. She's like, I wouldn't really know what to do. And so she said, she likes to help them, and she was like collecting gun oil and stuff for them. But she very much thought like, oh, I'm not cut out for that. And I think it's because she's always been this character that like loves nature and animals, but very much in like kind of a gentle way. And like she like worships nature as part of her religion. But she's always approached it with like that gentleness, and she wasn't sure if like she was put out there. She was also terrible at navigation because I was terrible at navigation, but she was like, if I was put out there and like had to save someone from a grizzly, like, can I do that? And I wasn't sure if she could do that. So she ended up naturally learning how to do more hunting and do more traveling the more that she started like researching herbs and stuff. And so she spent a good amount of time, like a few months, just going around and finding herbs. And I think through that she actually ended up learning about the crossing and like seeing the different animals. And then I think the gentleness that she kind of has is actually turned into sort of a point of strength for her, because she's able to look at the different types of people and like find a way to connect with them. And it's kind of in like a more genuine way. Like she's like doing things like, you know, hunting and getting food restocked for the lodge and stuff, but like she's still very much like, if she sees a dangerous thing, she'll turn and like try to get to a rock as opposed to, you know, standing and fighting. She'll make sure she's steady, and like she's gotten a lot smarter with that stuff. But I think like initially I was gonna have her be a counselor and like just have her helping people, especially like go to the law and talk about their feelings and like just help them alleviate that stress. But I think she's kind of doing that in her own way at the moment, with just like connecting to people in a different way and just helping the other rangers and the recruits. And I think she's kind of giving that emotional gentleness and teaching that to others as well. So I think once I kind of saw all of the stuff that like the rangers were doing, I was like, yeah, this could be a good fit, you know?
Absolutely. And honestly, we are so glad that you chose to not go the counselor route. You actually said, hey, I could have a shot at being a ranger. Now, your first, who was your first cat? Was it Cat? Did you have Cat first and then Cass came around, or?
No, Cass was before, but then I then had Katrina after that. Okay. It was, I actually made, I made like friends with Biscotto, who, I don't know if that's how you say his username.
Yeah, Biscotto.
I assume it is. Yeah. And so I made friends with him when I was RPing as Cass, and then he reached out and was like, oh, do you want to maybe play a little sister for Colin? I was like, yeah, that would be really good. So we ended up just thinking it up, and then I made her after. So I kind of took it a different direction, but I knew with her I wanted to make it like a very gentle, kind character who is very much like Civ and stays a Civ. So my goal is to keep a clean record forever for her, which will be nice. So we'll see.
I don't know, the way that some crims are operating these days, they are making anybody become a bad guy. It's a real test of our mettle, that's for sure. Macho mentions the story of the American West is a tragic romantic story with a grand beginning and beginning with a somber end. Or an ending with a somber end. Yes. And Preacher coming around to to give a nice PogChamp emote in the chat. Thanks, baby. Now, what does being a ranger mean to Kat?
I think for her it's more than just the skill. Like to her it's very much like having heart and having hope, and she thinks that the green poncho is like more than just knowing everything about the crossing or being the most skilled with the bow. To her it's like community, and it's saving lives and understanding nature in a meaningful way. um and she, I don't know, when she puts on the poncho, it's like she feels like a really strong weight, but it's not like a bad thing. It's just, she knows that everything she does is reflecting on every single person around her and on all of the rangers that came before. So she's just like, she really respects it, and she just really believes in it and wants for everyone to succeed. Like, she's not just focused on her own success. She's actually more focused on the other people, I think, which is nice. So
I
she's
agree.
what it means to her.
I agree. It does come with a particular weight. And that's been passed down since well before even Buzz was in the Rangers. There are certain things where, like, the motto, which is slowly kind of, it's drifting away, which I end up I don't know if I'm gonna try to replace it with something. But I also think it was very 32 pop mentality where the first rule of being a ranger is don't be a fucking idiot. And then the second rule, for anybody that doesn't know, is don't get caught if you are going to be an idiot. And
I
so,
never heard that.
yeah. Buzz actually made a third rule after the whole Mason James thing, and it's it's if you do those two things, if you're an idiot and then you get caught, then it's be ready. The third rule is be ready to live with the consequences. But a lot of it, like, part of me thinks these days on a server that has, what are we up to now? 160, 190? I don't know. What is it? Hang on. I can bring it up and see. But the fact is, people are always around. So the idea of being caught, we can get up to 192 people in the server at the same time. So the idea of actually being able to be sneaky and stuff, it's so much more difficult. Because were you around when there was a 32 character, 32 player limit?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because we had Alpha, we had Delta, and I think we had Gamma server.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't have been around.
So 32. I mean, honestly, like, to think, having just 32 people on a server, you can get away with a lot of shit. You can get away with a lot of stuff, but not anymore. At least that's the way I feel. And also to maintain our lawfulness and the actual organization, it's like, we have to remain lawful. So it's kind of like, maybe we need to just start shifting. If people still want to be sneaky, they can try, but there's a high likelihood you're probably gonna get caught somehow.
Definitely. Yeah, because I think, like, coming from like, she's married to like a senior deputy, and she genuinely believes in the law. Like, there's one instance that she has that is like slightly doubting the law, but it's only one, and I think it's a very fair one. But everything else, like, she really just wants to help the law and like help the medics and help the rangers, and she's like, I think for her, she's like, the lawfulness is like so important for her. So
absolutely. Yeah, Buzz will get down sometimes because of law, how the way that law treats the rangers sometimes. But usually that's a law person by law person basis where it's it's a person or it's a couple of people. It's not all of law,
Yep.
But in terms of lawfulness or sneaking around and not getting caught, Macho says didn't work for Bear. Macho, let me tell you, when I rode up to the taxidermy house when Bear and Hummingbird were laying the trap for Mason J, like, that was random. That was one time I said, you know what? I'm gonna cut up this way and I just happened to run into you guys. I usually don't, but I found you guys and was like, what in the heck is going on? So that was really, really funny. Now, Floral, what is your favorite part of being a ranger? And then we'll ask for Kat. But what's your favorite part?
For me, I think probably like the training process. So I think like watching those characters come in and just grow, and like I love seeing those characters who are a bit more vulnerable or a bit more shy and like not as confident, because they just remind me of Kat. And then watching them just like grow and get more confident, and like that moment where they get the green and you're just rooting for them, because it's like you're watching a TV show or something and you're just like those like underdog characters. I love them. So that's definitely one of my favorite things, is watching people become a ranger. Yeah.
That is fun. And a lot of times, I mean, with me and Buzz, I'm not really able to track much of his progress. But being able to watch these recruits come in, see them get built up, see them gain their confidence, and then before you know it, they're out leading patrols. It's like, now that you can actually see it when you're looking at someone else, but I tend to, at least with me, I don't see it with my characters all that much. But I'm assuming other people do. I don't know. But in terms of Buzz, like climbing the ranks and now being head ranger, I mean, I guess that's something. But, but the funniest part, like I don't know if he's. I mean, I'm sure. Like I could go back and watch, and he has changed significantly. But I just don't. I never saw it.
Maybe he's just always the best. He's just always perfect.
No. He was not. He was.
You underestimate how much I love him. I just like, he's perfect.
Now, what frustrates you the most when being a ranger?
I would say like on an OC level, like there's been a few times where I'm doing like search and rescues, and for whatever reason, like I crash, and so I just like come back in, and either my horse is gone or like whatever animal I just killed is like right back, and it's like spawned where I'm standing or something, or I just keep getting crashes, and I'm just like sitting there just like, please wait, like just person, if you're out there, just like please wait and I'll get to you, I promise. Because you just, or like where you just really, really want to find someone, and you're just not able to find them because it happens. But like I definitely will try and give like a fair shake, because like I love putting in the time, and then you actually like find the person, and it's so cute because you get to like have that little bit of RP afterwards, and just like find out a bit of their story when you're taking them to the medic and stuff. It's just really wholesome, I think. So I just hate when you just really want to get there and you just can't. But
yeah.
It is great because we're able to literally interject ourselves into someone else's story. And then it's up to them if they want to continue any kind of communication after that. A lot of times most people have their own thing to do, but, I guess when people get hurt, they don't treat it as, like to animals and stuff, they don't treat it as anything life-threatening most of the time. So when they never remember, it's like, oh yeah, you saved my life. They don't, after like a week, they're like, yeah, no, I got my own thing to do, but, but it is, I'd have to say in terms of, maybe I would say what frustrates me the most would be, bad communication or no communication which honestly, maybe half of the players on the server don't know that if they get found by somebody that isn't a ranger, or they respawn, to send a telegram to be. I mean, there have been a couple which have been great. That kind of communication, like, hey, I might have been over near McFarland Ranch and I got hurt by a cougar, and a local picked me up though and brought me back to Blackwater, that kind of thing, which I love, I adore. Because first that just checks one thing off the list, but then in the long run, it's like if people don't do that, we're still putting ourselves at risk every time we go. But the thing about it is still the puzzle. Like, I love the puzzle aspect because that's what I treat. It's like Manhunt, you know, you got to find this person that is in this very vast area. And some of the time it's real easy, but some of the times it's hard. And when it's hard and you find them, it's that sense of just accomplishment. You're like, yes, yes. And they're happy and you're happy. Like, oh, Seeley, it's like, all right, we got you now. Nothing's happening now. We're going to get you to town. Everything's good.
My favorite is like getting that feeling where you've got like the difficult search, but you've got a group of people to share that like win feeling with, of like we found the person and like we worked as a team, and like just seeing all of the rangers get excited is so cute. And like even the person who's injured is like, God, like they might be bleeding out, but they're like, yeah, I'm excited too. Like it's so cute.
I'm excited to save your life.
Yeah, I really like that.
Now, what do you think are some character misconceptions concerning the Rangers?
Okay, so there's like probably a few of them. I think one of the ones that I always get in character is if Kat says she's a ranger, people are like, "Oh, are you law?" I'm like, "No, I'm not law." Like she just like explains like what they do. So she's like, "No, we do search and rescues, you know. We monitor the wildlife, we help the law, and like we have to be lawful, but we're not actually law, but we will report on, you know, criminal activity if we see it." So she always says that. So I think that's one. Some people think that they're like law, or, you know, I guess like wildlife law or something. And then another one is probably, there's like some criminals that probably think that the rangers are like weak or they're easy to kind of rob and stuff. But I'd say a lot of the rangers are very much more willing to act in self-defense, and like that's allowed. And like if they do choose to act in self-defense, like they've got really good skills. Like they're very good at, you know, doing shooting, because they've been doing hunting probably most every day, you know. So I think they can hold their own if they like choose to. And then I think there's another one as well, is like a lot of people I've seen, they might think that, you know, that they're all just these kind of solo hunter types, which is like, you'll see some people come in and they say, "Oh, you know, I go hunting every day, and you know, I just live by myself. I don't talk to people, but I'm really good with nature and stuff." And it's like, yeah, that's important to know nature, but it's not just what a ranger is. Like a lot of the members in the rangers, even the more introverted ones, like even the ones who seem a bit more gruff and stuff, like they're actually in leadership positions more because they look out for all of the rangers, and they actually do care. So like even if they seem like they're not people like they actually are, just in like their own way, I suppose. And I don't know, I suppose another one that I've heard is like all rangers are corrupt. And I'm like, no, they're not. Because I think it's I'd say the corruption arcs are like probably more widespread across the different departments, but since we're a smaller department, it probably just seems more, you know, and if they happen close together. But I don't know, I've seen them in all of the departments. So I don't think they're all corrupt, you know?
Yeah, no, agreed. I have for a long time, I was thinking about like, what if the Strawberry Lodge was gone and we just had the outposts? Like during certain, like if we were really able to structure it in a way, like say somebody's hurt in Big Valley and they're, you know, their players down and they're looking around with their mouse and all they saw was like 6 rangers coming out of the trees, not just riding down the middle of Big Valley, but coming out of it. Like, or anytime we went into town, people would be like, oh, it's those rangers, you know, like they never saw us, but there still should be, but I wish we could have something like that, but for role play sake, no, we can't. We need to interact with as many people as possible. Yeah. It's just how it goes. Well, that, and you get to get into other people's stories too that way. That's compared to just rangers being their own little group of either self-sustaining role play. It's like no. But
yeah, because I think that's where I'm coming from. Like with it is, I suppose I approach RP like playing an RPG. Like how I think of it is like, imagine if you came into Skyrim or something and you can ask the NPCs anything you want and you'll get an answer. So that's how I do it. So like, that's why I play characters who are more outgoing, because like I want to know the questions to these things, you know, I want to know the answers, I mean. So I'll end up like having Kat actually get to know the people that she saves, and like she'll end up building these relationships that will turn into something down the line as well. So I think that's like a really good part of the Rangers, because it's not even just the people that we're saving that we get to kind of do RP for. Like we do a lot of facilitating RP as well, like, you know, escorting the medics, or, you know, finding herbs for people and stuff. And like at the moment I'm working on a project with a few other people and like just getting, I don't know, as many people as we can, and just getting them in on it. So I do think, you know, being able to interact with other people is like a big part of it as well.
Absolutely. I think I really want to I want to start pushing this the snake thing, the snake venom a lot, because there's a whole, like, the thing is that I set up kind of like a role play parameter where you have to be, the medic has to be near a fire. It can't be a recently placed fire because the temperature won't be hot enough. So if we go out, kill a snake, we got to get it on the horse. We have to bring it to the medic within 3 minutes, and then the medic can extract the anti-venom. I like making it like a challenge compared to just, oh, role play, you know, oh, just, you know, and so I kind of set up these little medical precedents. And I talked to a couple people about it, and they're eating it up too. But now it's just a matter of like, there's been this idea, I think, since the new year, and it's like, come on, let's start moving, guys. Let's start going.
Yeah.
So speaking of moving, where is Kat's favorite place to hunt?
I think the hunt is probably Big Valley. It's so open and it's just pretty. She really likes going hunting for pronghorns there, and it's like close to Strawberry as well, so she likes to go there, and like she'll sometimes set up trips with the recruits to go hunting out in Big Valley, and like take trips to the butchers, and then she'll sit down and get them to all kind of huddle around the fire and like talk. So I think that's definitely a positive place for her. Yeah.
Buzz has had amazing moments in Big Valley and also tragic moments in Big Valley, and so it's still just, I mean, it's such a gorgeous spot on the map too.
Where's Buzz's more favorite place?
Well, what he used to do as a hunter before he joined the Rangers, I used to go fishing up at Aurora Basin, and on the way back, I would find a bear, I'd find a grizzly, and get the pelt, and I'd go back and usually see about like $150 per trip, if not more. And that was before crates and all that too. Or I'd go, what did I do? There used to be times I'd kill I would somehow get 2 cougars, and I would have to, and I'd walk back. I'd start at Beecher's Hope, and I'd walk back, like not even run back, just walk back with the horse following me. And it was I've slowly been becoming more of a try hard with different, like the thing, like when we find a person, when we find an injured person, I always try to find their horse, because I know they don't role play the fact. They're like, oh, my horse is just, it followed us back to town. It's like, did it really? Because there have been times where Buzz has gotten hurt and he's been found, but they never brought the horse. So it's like, well, that gives me role play to go and find the horse. So little things like that. Like, I'm pretty sure there are a ton of rangers that they are just so excited that they find the person. They don't even think about the horse. But that's one of the first thing Buzz says. Find their horse. Find their horse. We're bringing it to town too. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I love little things. Yeah. Sometimes I get too detailed for my own good.
I know I definitely do the same sometimes.
The devil is in the
I think
details.
for me, like, I get way too detailed with like the immersion assets and stuff. So I'll be like making paper and like have coffee stained paper with like ranger logos, or make up like documents made by local people or something, like that kind of stuff. I love so much.
Speaking of, have you shared any of those on your Ko-Fi?
No, I should actually. That's
I
a
think
good
you
idea.
should. I think you should, because those are absolutely amazing. For those that don't know, that are still listening, Floral provided a lot of. She did a logo for the Rangers. She's done a couple of book title covers, like the cover page. On top of that, she also did meta guards. So anytime somebody is in checking telegrams, or for writing in our paperwork, and we don't want people to see what we're doing, because there would be a very big meta break, like people could see it and then go talk to other people about it. She designed these wonderful screens that you can just put over, you can make them visible when you're writing a telegram. If you want to send a secret telegram that you don't want any of your viewers to see, or people that will come and watch later that would say, oh, that's what they're doing. Things could be used against you. Sadly, there is sometimes still metagaming that happens. And so having these safeguards in place is absolutely fantastic. I use it when I feel like I need to, but most of the time I don't always. Or if I'm just playing and I'm not streaming, then it's just, I'll go when I edit later. I'll decide whether it stays in or not. Secrets. That's right, Myth. All the secrets. So, what has been your best moment for Kat as a ranger?
I think it's probably like she had like this moment where she was like looking down on the lodge from up high, and it was just after solo RP, and she just like realized how much the rangers meant to her, and like how much she needs them way more than they need her. So it was like her realizing that like she would do anything she could do to help them. And I think that was like, even though it was like a solo RP moment, it was like very much like her growing into the person that she needed to be able to do the seniors and go in and do the Game Warden as well. So I think that was one of her best moments in a way, because she just like realized like she's in for the long haul, I suppose. Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I think like pretty much like there's so many different good moments she's had since she got like part of the Rangers, because I think before I used to do mostly solo RP with her, but she's like
cleaning guns and roads.
Yeah, like I actually loved the gun store RP, like it was really good, but But obviously when I would be around, sometimes it would be more quiet hours. So, and then like if Rhodes is quiet, they might not see you if you're, unless you're out on the porch. So I'd kind of have her do some like solo RP and stuff, but I think having her be with the ranger, she's able to kind of go and find the RP with like the tip line and stuff. So it's like good, she can kind of interact with more people, I think.
How many times did Kat have to fight the guys on the porch at the Rhodes gun store?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
We actually had like an entire backstory for them. Biz and I, when Biz was playing Colin, like we would have all of these stories. They had names. Their wives had names. One of them was like cheating on his wife. There was like so much local drama that like we ended up making up, and we would just keep the story consistent. So we would always just like talk shit about the two people that lived there, and then we would like, I think one time one of them tried to beat up Kat, and Colin ended up beating him up. He was like, "I'm telling your wife what you do."
Yes.
It's so funny. I love like coming up with lore for the locals as well. It's so good. I just love any kind of world building, really.
Absolutely. In such a detailed world already, that is Red Dead. That is Saints Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
What has been Kat's worst moment as a ranger?
Okay, there was like a moment. It was last week, I think. I think it was last week. But it was like the most stressful situation for her, because one of the rangers went off and there's no paperwork, and so sorry, I'm just gonna cough.
Yeah. This had to have been
I
Clementine.
just muted myself.
Yeah.
No, it actually wasn't. But no, so she was like really worried because there was basically this guy wrote in and he was like, "Oh, we've got some multiple people down." And at first we thought, okay, it's like one was a bear, so we were like, okay, it's probably all of them got attacked by a bear. But then he mentioned a gunshot wound, so then immediately Kat is like, okay, this is like possible criminal activity as well. So it changes everything, and she didn't want people just immediately riding out without like forming a plan. But the ranger was already gone, so she was like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do? And then she like, Eliana was near her, so she just like talked with her, and she pretty much like let Eliana take the lead. But I think she very much felt like she failed as a leader, because she was like, I should have like rode after him quickly, or like called him back or something to control the situation and go as a group. But I think she took time to like think about it, and she realized that mistakes are only actually mistakes unless if you're not learning from them. And she did manage to talk to a few people and like found out that he was safe and everything. So like there wasn't actually much she could do in the moment, really, but she did kind of like do the right things, like telegram law and telegram medics and whatever. But it did help her grow, even though it was like a bad situation for her. She was very much like, okay, we're never letting this happen again, so like what can I do to fix that? What can I do to make sure that every single person knows if this happens, this is what we do? So that's like kind of good for her that she's like, getting a bit more strict and a bit more like grit to her, which is good. So I think she needs like the bad moments as much as she needs the good ones.
Yeah.
To like help propel her in like the right direction.
Absolutely. If it's all good all the time, there'll be no growth. There needs to be
Yeah.
challenges. Which leads us conveniently into our next question. What has been Kat's biggest challenge in the Rangers?
I think for me, like having her like step up as a leader, but I'm trying to pace it, so I want her to grow by out of character. I want her to do like a good job and not make too many mistakes. But it's pretty much finding that balance, because I want her to have these moments that are impacting her enough that she's gaining new lessons and getting stronger. But in character for her, I think she's very much navigating and readjusting how she talks with some of her recruits. And like there's one in particular that's a bit more brash, and like out of character I think it's great because it's like pushing her and she's growing, but in character she's very much trying to like readjust and see how is this character, or how is this person talking to me, and how is he communicating, and how can I use that communication back to him and do it in a way that he will listen. And so she's like really trying to do that, but like sometimes it's not always gonna work. But so that's like a challenge for her, is like knowing when to try and communicate and when she's kind of realizing that, you know, she might not be able to fix everything as well. 'Cause like, I don't know, even in that moment I was kind of out of character, kind of thinking like, has she learned enough until like this point in time that she can actually approach these more difficult conversations and be more strict. But then I kind of thought about like all of the people who've been, I guess, teaching her all of this time, or like people that she's able to pick apart what they're doing and like apply it herself. So like she's got Eliana and her friends Kate and Joanna, and then even like Buzz, she's able to kind of look and see like, how is this person,
what not to do.
no, like how is this person, like, you know, how do they approach it, and like how can she approach it? Because like she sees Buzz as like strict, but then always caring on like the human level, so like always giving that like harsh, so she very much tries to like lead with that as well. And I think that would be her natural way of doing it, is like she's not naturally that strict, but I think that's like her biggest challenge, is like just putting down those boundaries and keeping them.
Well, that, I mean, Buzz thought he would make Senior Ranger and that's it. Like, I was fine with that. It was like, you know what? In his twilight years, he'll be able to contribute that way, and that's it. And then at some point, it was like they spoke about him becoming a Game Warden, and then it was like, okay, now both Head Rangers are leaving, so we need someone else. It's like, oh boy, just get him up there. So it's been a very big trial by fire, at least for him. But it is now. It's a thing of like, half of it is looking out for everyone to make sure that they aren't messing up to the point of them being considered unlawful, but also looking out for the Rangers as a whole, and still having those moments with each, hopefully with each character, if they're sought, you know, like being able to sit down with Tibbet or with Clementine or with Kat or with Bear or with Deuce, that kind of thing. You know, or even lately Alfred. Like I can't help it.
Alfred.
Yeah, I give Gentry such shit. I just troll him all day because it's just, a lot of it is me personally testing the waters just to see what they will do as a character. And then I'll always send them a message after, just be like, hey, I just want you to know, like, if this ever gets too much, you you tell me, okay? He's like, no, I love it. And I'm like, great, all right, you asked for it. But
yeah, I love that.
a lot of it is building these smaller bonds, and a lot, honestly, with the way that I'm playing Buzz right now, watching other people put in votes for people to get the green and stuff, it's not Buzz's show anymore. You know, I want to see the recruits forming bonds with Rangers, seniors, maybe a Game Warden. If they barely talk to Buzz, I'm kind of all right with that, because it's about forming those bonds for the next generation. Because Buzz, I mean, honestly, he's old. He feels like he's done. He's, you know, it's not like he's waiting for his moment to leave. I've set a couple clear goals, which I think he's told Kat.
Yeah.
So if that happens, then it's amazing. Or he's going to catch bullets beforehand. I don't know. So that's where it's at. That is where it's at. So with all this growth that you've done with Kat and a couple of your other characters, what has been your biggest challenge as a role player?
I don't know. I think, like, out of character, like, I'm really very much, like, more introverted. So one of the bigger challenges I started with was, like, confidence and, like, actually being able to, like, do it. But I think being another, like, just being in the other character's headspace helps that. But, I think, like, out of character, probably, like, some stuff I need to work on, because I'm, like, not really good at it all, is, you know, like, medical RP and, like, you have to do pain noises. Like, I get so awkward, like, I don't know how to do it. So I always end up doing a lot of, like, slash me's, or, like, try my best to do, like, I make an attempt, but I'm not very good at it. So that's something I could probably look into, because, like, I'm not, like, a voice actor, and, like, I don't have any actual acting experience, like, outside of RP. Like, this is, like, very much more of, like, a hobby for me and stuff, so it's something I'd kind of like to learn how to do acting better, because I really do enjoy it. Especially, like, the more improv kind of side of it, like, I really enjoy. So I think that kind of confidence is, like, still growing, I think, in some areas. That's probably, like, the biggest challenge for me, is, like, just continuing to try new things and like, trying new accents and trying new voices, and, like, even if it is terrible, just, like, keep going with it. Like, I don't really even know how to do a British accent, but I was like, hey, I've got a British character now. Like, does it sound real? Probably not, but, you know, it's fine. Like, most people are very good, and they will, like, just sort of they will, like, play up whatever you're putting down as well. So I think there's definitely, everyone has, like, things that they can learn and improve on always. But yeah, I think I would love to do some actual acting classes sometime if I wasn't too nervous. But yeah, don't know.
Yeah, you just made me think of the fact that even though I can do Dolphy's accent, that maybe I should never have. The weirdest part is I still have a couple accents in me. Like, I've got a Scottish one. I could probably do an Irish. I would probably have to watch a couple more films.
My God, yes.
To really get it down.
Yeah, like, I used to have a really thick Irish accent, but
I mean, that's
I don't
the thing.
even
Yeah,
have one anymore.
Yeah, like, I hear a couple things here and there, but otherwise, where'd it go?
Yeah, because, like, I used to get, like, really badly bullied about it, so I just stopped. Like, I consciously tried to stop talking with it and, like, speak more, like, non-accent, even though I don't know if this is, like, accent. It's just like generic or something.
It's well, not
so
generic. It's universal.
Yeah. So like that's definitely one thing. And like there's words that like I still can't say properly, but like, you know, it's whatever. But I think being able to unlearn some of the accent ended up helping me to learn other accents as well, because I was like really focused on how are they speaking and like how can I do that, you know.
Agreed.
See,
Yeah.
there, I couldn't do that.
That right there. That's very Irish. But otherwise, I mean, honestly, you sound, most of your words, you sound American, and that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And then you get it's such an amazing like hybrid. I was in, let's see, I think in Europe it's called primary school. And in grade, what would it have been? 6. And we had a science teacher. And honestly, like I listened to the radio, I watched enough movies and stuff, but my teacher always used to have me read out of the book during class, because for some reason, and I'm originally from New England, where, you know, we lose any of our R's. And we actually put them on other words. So like if there's pizza, but in New England it's pizza. You know, it's like, oh, let's go down the harbor. We're gonna go get some pizza and soda. All right, let's go. Say hi to your mother for me too. But for some reason, when I was called on to read from the book, I could just shut off this Rhode Island accent where I'm from originally.
Yeah.
And I would just speak almost like a radio voice, you know, be like, well, you know, as we go to dissect the frog, we're going to, you know, split its legs apart and whatever. But but the teacher was like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just can. And then I ended up moving 4 states away for college. And nobody could understand me there, even though it was a state away from New York. And so the accents, they all kind of mix between each other. But I learned how to ditch it there. And then anytime I've ever done, you know, voiceover work or things like that, or acted, it's always been, how can I not sound like me? And so it has been, it's been fun. And then before you know it, like, honestly, Train Spotting was a huge film for me, because it was just like, people sound like this, you know? And then it sent me down this Ewan McGregor rabbit hole. And so anytime I can talk like Ewan McGregor, I will. Which, to not meta or anything, but I might have some fun with a Scottish character very soon who's going to sound exactly like Spud, Ewan Bremner's character.
Oh, that's going to be so fun.
Hey, he's just got to be this, you know, a stumpy guy that just happens to be, you know, wherever in Scotland that Kate McAllister's from, because it's going to be her little brother.
Oh,
it's got to be terrible, but it's going to be also fantastic. But no, this was an amazing tangent, and I absolutely love it. For Kat, has there been an experience that reshaped your character? And if so, explain it.
It's such a tough one, because I think there's been like so many of them, but I think like there's probably like 2 that stick out the most, which is okay, I'll do like no particular order on them, but one of them was, do you know the character Sophia Bershin? She was at the wedding.
I believe so.
Yeah, she's played by Galasas. I also don't know how to say the username. I never said it out loud, but Gele. And she her character had like such a big impact on Kat, because she was like the one who got her interested in herbs, and like she's the one that just, I don't know, she like helped her to grow so much, and like was very much like her support system for such a long time as well. And yeah, I don't know, like seeing her like actually at the wedding and stuff was like, it made me cry out of character just seeing her, because it was just so sweet, like looking at both of them and seeing how much they changed each other. And I think like Kelly as well, she's like, I don't know, like she's just like so underrated as well as a role player, because I don't know, she's just like got these really good skills, and then she's just so nice out of character as well. So like, I'm just always excited to get to RP with her. And I think we just like bond really well. So all of, you know, anytime we play, like you just know, like we have such a good back and forth, you know. So I think our characters definitely impacted each other's. And then I think for the other one, probably Eliana and Kat, like the first time that they talked, because they started talking outside this tree in Blackwasher. And Eliana, she is like played by Aaron. You know, Aaron rolls dice, and she's just a gem as well. Like she's just so nice. And
Agreed.
I'm just like always really happy when I get to RP with her as well. But yeah, like Kat basically ended up talking to Eliana about like pretty much like where they want to go in life and like what they want to do, and about like their big dreams and stuff, and they just bonded so well. And I remember Kat was like, she said something like, "Do you want to be my friend?" And it was just so cute.
Aww.
And yeah, and so they just ended up talking from there, and like they really helped shape each other. Like I don't think that Kat would be like as strong as she is without all of the stuff that Eliana taught her, and like she definitely wouldn't be as confident, because a lot of her confidence and a lot of her knowledge about, you know, what to do in a certain situation is coming from Eliana as well. So I think, and then Kat is also helping her grow in different ways too. So yeah, I think definitely those are the two. But I don't know, what about Buzz? Is there any main one?
Before we jump on that, I do want to give a huge thanks to Tactical Ghost for the raid. Tac plays Bo Carter in the Rangers. They were playing Dead by Daylight, and thank you for bringing everybody. For Bo, being mentored by Rain is what helped shape my character. Bo is stern and always willing to put forth his best. Rain said, "If you can reach one, teach one." Hey. Anytime Bo is at work, he loves to take the recruits out. Hell yeah. I would say a couple of experiences. Frankie's departure was a big one recently, where it reminded him that that nobody's safe, and to maybe not be such a goofball all the goddamn time and actually have meaningful moments with more people. Right? Rip checkers, yeah. There was a time. So when Buzz originally went to be a ranger, they did actual trials, not the trials we do, but they were expecting maybe 4 or 5 people to show up, and they got like 12. And a couple of Buzz's friends, Mitch, Rabbit, Gus, they all wanted to be rangers, like really bad. And Rabbit had let it slip to Buzz that if they didn't make ranger, there could potentially be a much darker path that they were set down, because Law didn't want them at the time. And so they're like, well, I could do some work, as a ranger or whatever, and give back that way. And so the second it was a mock trial anyway. So it was like you gotta look for clues here. You're gonna find a missing person. We last saw them here, and then maybe you'll find clues that will then bring you. And it's about communicating with people. It's about getting there safely, taking the quickest way. But the second that happened, and Buzz knew, like, because we had all just finished up the Bloodletter story arc where we almost all got charged with vigilantism, but one person took the fall for it all. I looked at that, or Buzz looked at it and was like, I have to do something to make sure my friends get in the Rangers. This isn't about me. This isn't necessarily about me. And so Buzz completely did his own thing. The whole idea of Detective Ranger came up during that Ranger trial. Like Buzz brought it up. We're just like, that the name came and it stuck. But so Buzz acted like a complete fool and an idiot to make his friend shine, to make sure that they got in and not him. And then a couple months later or whatever, the best part is I went back and I watched a stream or two where it was Roy, it was Vincent, it was who was it, Billy and May, and they were all having a little powwow at the end talking. And the best compliment I could ever get was when they brought up Buzz's eligibility to potentially become a Ranger recruit. They just went, Buzz is Buzz. And that was it. And I'm like, that is the kind of reinforcement that I needed. I guess also maybe it would be considered not justification would be the perfect word. But it's like when people know Buzz, Buzz, It felt good. Buzz kept that to himself for a very long time until he ended up telling Bianca, who then told May, and then May told everyone, which I was like, guys, that kind of thing. But he still eventually made it in. And so I'd say probably the shift, another one would be the shift from Game Warden to Head Ranger, where it was like, he's the guy in charge now. He has to be able to do practically everything and then some, because you got to be able to talk the talk and walk the walk, that kind of thing, which I still don't know how to do a Ranger trial yet. But honestly, how hard can it freaking be? Come on, right? It can't be that difficult. So to jump back, also thank you again, Tack. I appreciate you, baby. But did we so let's see. Oh, now we're gonna get into a couple fun questions. What is your favorite place for search and rescue? And if you say Northern Great Plains because it's easy.
No, I think my favorite and Kat's favorite is probably Tall Trees, and my second favorite is Roanoke. But they're like really on par. I love all of the difficult ones, like Tall Trees, Roanoke, Big Valley are all my top 3. But I think Tall Trees is probably my favorite. It's like the most atmospheric out of all of them.
Ooh, agreed. Yeah. Roanoke is just littered with cougars, and you don't know exactly where they're coming from. There's no rhyme to their reasoning there. Tall Trees, totally has this ethereal, spooky, especially if it's at night. I love going there at night, because most of the time you can't even see a bear if you're looking for it. Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
I did one alone at night, and I stayed up later than I usually do with Kat. I did it was a Tall Trees one, and it was dark, there was fog, and I was on my own, and I actually, like, out of character got a bit scared, and I was like, okay, it's not real, just go in and it's fine. But I was like, oh my God, she's gonna get attacked. But it was so good though.
What freaks me out about the game is the fact that, especially in Tall Trees and a few other places, you'll hear a rustling in the bushes, but there isn't an animal, there isn't anything. There isn't even a cat, like a player. And that drives me up the wall, because it freaks me out, because I'm waiting now for something and nothing comes. And it disappoints me, It also scares me. It also sends my blood pressure through the roof. But you kind of like take a moment and you're like, oh, okay, nothing's coming. And then from the other side of the road comes a cougar or a bear or wolves. And so I'm surprised, honestly, that I don't scream more. Like when I play scary games like Alien Isolation and shit, I'm really surprised that I don't scream more in the game. Usually I get just enough for like a delay to actually do like a buzz groan or something, but never just full on Andy scream yet. There'll probably come a time, which would be great, but not yet. So those are your favorites. What is your most hated place for a searcher? Oh, not hate. Hate is a strong word. Which location in our new map that we have is your most unsatisfactory?
Heartlands.
Heartlands.
I don't like Heartlands.
Because of being exposed? Why?
It's just like there's so many places that people can fall, and it's just so big, you know. So like, I don't know. Like it's fine, and like you can find the person, but I feel like most of the time, it's like down some cliff somewhere, and like you might find the horse or you might find the wagon, but the person's gone because like it's just like the because it takes quite a long time to like properly search, and so I'll try and like properly search every area, but it can just like take a while, which is fine. But yeah, it's just like more. There's just so many places because it's not so much just like like, oh, there's an animal here, so like let's check here, let's check the tracks, let's do this, do that. It's like let's check everywhere, you know.
That or all the hot spots are like spread all over the area, so you still either you're zigzagging and you're missing a whole bunch of places along the way, which then adds even more time, or you start at one area and work your way to the next while hitting one highlighted spot, then move again, hit the next highlighted spot. I agree.
It's fun in a group, but when you're by yourself, it's not very fun.
Yeah. That what is it? What is it? Western Central New Heartlands?
Yep.
I kind of secretly love that one now. That's not my favorite. I'm trying to think what my favorite is. Oh, that is Honestly, I might have to go with Cholla Springs. Back in the day, there was right when the tip line came out and everything, there was a guy that had been out there for 3 days. And he had logged in for maybe like 4 to 5 hours each time, and we could not find him. We could not. And then one day, it was this weird, all these things had to happen for it to work out. So there's this little itty bitty camp that is underneath like it's like a rock face. A little bit before all the new tents that they put below the train tracks and stuff. Between there and the tree, that big tree that's in outside Armadillo. There's this one little camp that blink and you'll miss it. If you're riding a horse, you will literally go into the pit where this little camp is. There's no ladder or anything, but it's just almost surrounded by rocks. But I was down there with Frankie, or Buzz was down there with Frankie and Nathan. Nathan went to the bigger camps that had just gotten put in, the tents and all that. Frankie was starting to move towards Pike's Basin. Had I not turned around, go looking for Nathan, and then go, I need to go find Frankie to let her know that I have not found Nathan. And so when I rode back to go find Frankie, that's when I saw this guy. Yeah, but this guy was out there for 3, and honestly, props to him. I mean, he must have had a treasure, you know, he must have had like riches beyond compare. But to find him and to not be giddy, to be like, oh my God, this guy, like, you want to know what would have been the icing on the cake was if the guy, like, we found him and he died.
No.
He's like, I waited 3 days, and then he finally permas.
Oh my god.
That would have been
So true. I'm actually thinking about that. Like, imagine you do find someone after like 2 or 3 days and they just immediately profiles you. Like, oh my god.
That would be amazing. Buzz did. Has Cat found anyone that on a search and rescue that's been deceased or?
Well, she found she found one character that Marta and I know she died a while later from her wounds, but Cat didn't, it didn't happen in the same day, so Cat didn't really know. I think it might have been, I don't really know if it was the same exact wounds or more, but she was very, very sick when Cat found her, so that was probably the closest. But I don't think she ever found somebody actually pyramid yet. So, we'll see.
There will come a time.
Yeah.
Buzz found, maybe about a month ago, one of the hobos from the hobo gang. He was down near Plague Town, and the panther had gotten him. And the guy wrote, he emoted that next to the body was a pool of blood, but written in it was like, "I'm sorry, Booze." Like one of the hobos' names is Booze, and so once I got the guy on the horse and right before I was going to take him away, I put that down as a detail over where near he was, just to add a little bit extra in case they wanted to come back. But yeah, I got him to Rhodes. We had to ID him and stuff with Clyde. It was very sobering, I'll say that. It was very shit. And honestly, but and some of the time too, you start thinking as a player, it's like, did they do this? Did they plan, like, were they doing this on their own, or was it because we took too long? But I'm pretty sure they wanted to perma that character, and that's kind of that was convenient or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's always the person's own thing. Like if they choose to perma their character, it's always on their watch,
Well, I mean, it could be a dice roll too. So
yeah,
because I've rolled a few dice here and there.
Yeah,
and
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I did that, and everyone was like, "Don't you ever do that again, ever?" So I was like, "Okay, I won't."
Buzz got attacked by one of the bears
That's
outside of Wallace Station, and I rolled, and I had 5 hours before he would die.
Oh my gosh!
Before he'd bleed out, and they found him in like 2, maybe in an hour and a half.
Good.
It was great. And because the thing was, Buzz was all the way in like Roanoke, and then was working his way back. And when the Rangers rode out, they were originally going to cut across the plains, across the Heartlands to get there quicker. But some reason they said they went towards Wallace, and they saw Buzz's horse down near the water. And was like, "Is that Mouth?" And everybody's like, "I think that is Mouth." And then they start searching, because the worst part on top of it all is the bear gets you, but then locals, NPCs, ride by the same path, which then the bear chases after them. And then the bear started attacking people at Wallace. Other riders who were probably thieves or, crims shot the bear and killed the bear. So now I'm there. Nobody knows where I am.
Oh,
Nobody. So that is one of the best feelings of leaving, like not logging out, because your horse is one of your key attributes to being found. If people see a horse that's abandoned and they're like, suddenly the search area gets so much smaller, and then they ended up finding me. It was great. Yeah.
Oh.
I wonder what you rolled up in the snow. Hey, Duffy, what's going on, man? Good to see you guys. What did I roll? Well, no, you know what? I don't think I rolled for that one, because that was just slipping on snow on a horse, and then you hit it. You slide into a rock, which then throws you off the horse. No. I did. Actually, you're right. The one where I did say a timer started.
My gosh.
Sorry, that's my giddy laugh. Yeah, that was me just being like, he could have, when the 2-hour countdown started. there were other times where Buzz was heading up to Coulter, because I don't think, no, Cat wasn't in the Rangers yet. A lot of you weren't in the Rangers yet. We used to do supply crates at different places like Coulter. We had a place outside Tumbleweed. We had, did we do McFarlane? I don't think we did McFarlane. Where else did we do? But we would bring supplies. We'd bring like a bow and arrow. We'd bring bandages, a first aid kit, food, and a canteen. Honestly, it was like, plus the cost of the crate, it was like $200 each time. And people used to just steal the hell out of these. But this was when, if people anywhere in the snow respawned, they would it would send them to Coulter. So they had nothing, and they'd have to try to get out of the snow. And so we'd leave things like that. But Buzz was heading up there. And in the whiteout towards Coulter, wolves attacked. And it's the first time I'd been through that whiteout at least 200 times. Never wolves. And then suddenly wolves came this time, chased me up the side of like this rock face. And the horse spins around. We hit a rock. I go flying off. And meanwhile, I'm streaming it. And so I wait there. Meanwhile, there's a couple Rangers that are watching, and they're all at like work in real life. They're at work and they're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And I start this count, like I start rolling. I'm like, okay, if people haven't found me in a half hour, one of his fingers is going to be gone because a wolf's going to bite it off.
Oh my God, no.
At the hour mark, they're going to start cutting into, like, start chewing into his leg because they're hungry. It started getting pretty rough. So, but actually, here we go. This is going to be a big one. What would be your ultimate 6-person search and rescue party? Who would you take? And this doesn't just have to be Rangers. This could be any character in the crossing, alive or dead.
Oh my God. Okay, so it's like 2 groups I was thinking maybe.
I mean, you could do one group that's all Rangers and then do another group that's a mix of everyone.
Okay, that could be good. Okay, so Ranger 1 would be maybe Cash, Buzz, Bear, Pivot, Clementine, and maybe Deuce. So I feel like they'd have like a good mix together. Anytime Clementine's there, I know we're always gonna have like some kind of fun with it. Pivot, I think, would like Pivot and Bear and Deuce. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like we would find the person with like that group, but then we would also get some kind of fun RP out of it as well. For like a different one, I feel like maybe Cash, Eliana. I just want Jones to be there.
Edison Jones?
Jones. I love him. I would put Kiono, because I loved the search and rescue, so Kiono.
Aww.
So that's Eliana, Jones, Kiono, and then where I would put I feel like I'd love to bring along a character who's just really confused and doesn't know what's going on.
Dolphy.
Yeah, Dolphy. And then, who else? Oh, I'd bring along Jane Ripley. Yeah, that would be so fun. Yeah. That would just be such a good group.
Tassara's whole character?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because she's just so, like, strict, but she's really, like, she's had a lot of fun energy as well. So I feel like that would be just a weird mix of people.
Yeah.
And you would just get a really fun scene out of that. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. That would be fantastic. Aaron, speaking of trouble, Aaron. Oh, bring Rodney. Yeah, we'd bring Rodney.
I love Rodney so much. He's so cute.
Wait, we need to call Aaron out right now.
Yeah, how dare you?
Howdy.
I don't know what you did, but how dare you?
For those that don't know, Aaron Rolls Dice plays Eliana Carver, the better half of the Cat Eliana duo. Not better half. The same half.
It's better half.
Equal half. But we also got to meet their character from the snow, Marion, the other night. Which Buzz was inside the lodge and here like, oh no. He was talking with Del Lobos, and then I thought they were waiting for the Del Lobos to leave town for them to rob Buzz. I was like, no, Del Lobos, come back. That's not true. The absolute worst half? No, how dare you? How dare you say that? So I have to think, if I was going to do any character alive or dead, that party, I'd want to bring a criminal. Because so nobody would mess with the party. This would have to be a big criminal, somebody that would be like, you know, any other criminal group rode up and they were like, they'd be like, oh, sorry, sir. That kind of thing. Like maybe I'd bring like Wallaby or something. You know? I'd probably want to bring Sheriff Cash. Just because he's great. Marion loves the Rangers. Yeah, we like her too. Unless Law asks us where you are and we saw you guys going somewhere. Then for that moment, we're like, sorry, we got to tell them where we saw you. Baz would have been pretty, yeah. Taking Baz on a Baz Kerrigan? Yeah. That would actually be a good one.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe one of the first, maybe Nikosi. Bring Nikosi, one of the first Rangers. For the lore drops. We understand you have your dude. Perfect. I think I don't know if it'll ever get to a point where like we say something crucial and it leads to you guys getting caught in the first place. So I don't know. And if so, it'll never get honest. Actually, I was gonna say, and even if it did, it would never get back to you. But we know Law would actually find a way to let it slip. All right, so we've got Baz, we've got Nikosi. Maybe I would bring, just for funsies, I'd bring back Yeka's Bloodletter character. Because she was pretty ruthless at finding people. Like, they'd find people out on, out alone and exposed and get them. So that's 3. Who'd be some other classic ones? I'd want to bring Jack Kettleman, just see how long it would take Jack Kettleman to just get bored. I don't want to help these people.
I feel like he would just start flirting with any of the other... Yeah, he'd just start flirting with everyone. and then when he finds the person, he'll start calling them a Muppet. Yep.
The second they find them on the ground, he's like, hey, I found the Muppet!
So good.
Nah, maybe we wouldn't bring Jack. Tibbet. You take Tibbet because Tibbet would just find them anyway. While everybody else is still in town gathering their like supplies, like Tibbet's already out and bringing them back. Just be like, oh, you guys were coming? Actually, why do I make her sound like Mickey Mouse? Oh, Yeka's gonna kill me. Why do I?
I'm gonna have to hear you do a cat impression on sometime.
Oh, I don't even know if I could get that high. No, I can't. No, I sound like an actual feline cat being strangled. Hi, I just can't get that high. No, I can't. I can't get that high. I just can't. It's not in my vocal cords anymore. I don't know if it ever was. If so, I'd have to do it while like yelling, and that's just not good for anyone. As Buzz, if it was gonna be his ranger group, he'd need to bring at least one recruit with them, so somebody learns something. Tibbet crosses both parties. Because honestly, I could just sit back and make sure that the recruit doesn't die. Well, she does most of the work. Deuce would be there for comedic relief because Preacher always finds a way to slip and go flying off his horse and never get incapped. That's the best part. He'll fall 3 or 4 times on one search and rescue, but just get right back up and be like, well, all right. He just keeps going.
Aw. I love this.
Let's see. So who do we have? We've got Deuce, we've got Tibbet, we've got a recruit. So that's 3. Buzz is 4. 2 more. He'd bring Frankie back for selfish reasons. To just spend 1 more search and rescue with her. Bottom lip tremble. Aw. Lainey. And then who'd be the final one? Maybe one of the Rangers that wasn't around for the tip line. Just for them to see how it all works and just go, holy crap. Like, this is amazing. You have to say Cat? Do I?
No, you don't have to say that. Actually, I would actually kick Cat off of my list if it's
Don't you dare!
It's true. No, because if it's not the Ranger list, then I would kick Cat off of the other list and put Tawny on there instead. Because Tawny would be fucking hilarious, and she also believes that Buzz is a cannibal, and she's been telling everybody that. So this will just help confirm her belief that Buzz is a cannibal.
Do you know that Tawny is going to lead to Buzz's perma, though? Because the second actual cannibal, like people make cannibal characters again, eating tall trees, and they start doing shit, people are going to start coming for Buzz, thinking it's him.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I hope you're ready, Floral. You are the one who will cause Buzz's perma. Just saying.
She would be so funny, though. They'd be like, okay, Tawny, we're here, we're like trying to find the body, we're looking out in Roanoke, and she'd be like, yeah, alright, I don't surely know where he might be, but I guess, I mean, we could probably go down and look at them gators down there. They're just like, stop talking and just help us.
That sounds so good. Oh, Tawny. That's so amazing.
She's crazy.
All right, we are starting to near the end. So, with what you can reveal, do you have any future goals for Cat? That isn't meta-y or anything. Are there any goals that you can reveal?
Be honest?
Yeah.
I don't know, because she's kind of more like a slow burn character, so like I didn't really, for Cat, like I don't really have any particular plans for her so much. It's like I have things that she might do in the future if certain things trigger that, but to be honest, I just kind of want to see her like develop more as a character and like get her to be a better leader and like just get a bit more confident and help the other Rangers and recruits and stuff. But I don't have any like big plans for her really, to be honest. Which is probably a really boring answer, but I don't like to plan too much, you know?
Well, that's the thing too. Like a lot of times I give myself, I put myself through a lot of pain because when I'm logging into the server, I'm like, what should I do today? But a lot of it is just when you're in a service role, I almost feel like you have to make your character be extremely fluid when it comes to just being able to jump to something else very quickly. Because honestly, like, anytime we go to do a patrol where we've written out the paperwork, we are literally across the bridge about to leave Strawberry, the bell goes off. And of course, one of us hears it, because we have to.
Yeah.
but it's like, you gotta be, so it's a matter of when it's a service role like that. Yeah. It's, there have been some times here and there where I've been able to, go out, do my own thing or plan something, like if one of my horses was not brought back after I got rescued or something, or I gave my horse to somebody or my horse was stolen, I will take that and say, I have to go do this first. Otherwise I cannot go out and ranger because this is my primary horse. This is my best horse or whatever. We do have a question in chat from Aaron Rolls Dice. Question for Floral/Cat. Which free ranger is the most delicious?
Fuck you.
Ooh.
It's
Did we name a free ranger that? We must have, probably.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say it's probably the one that Aliana calls dinner. Probably. I don't know why, I'm just saying it is. But no,
Fuck you. I love it.
But Kat is like, I'm not joking, like she's actually going to try and like make ponchos for them. Like that's gonna happen because she has to now.
That feels like an art piece waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So, as Kat, what would be the one tip you would tell an aspiring ranger? I mean, I know you've done plenty, but what if there was one all-encapsulating one? What would be the one thing you'd say to them?
I would say instead of wait, I'll do it in her voice. Let me get into her voice. I'd say that the most important thing that you need to do as a ranger is, you know how they say rangers lead the way? I would change that and say just lead with your heart, and that's all you gotta do. Yes, that's like she would say.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
And now, as we finish up, Floral, what is your hope for the future of the Rangers?
I would love to have just like a huge big group, like as much people as like the law groups have, and just like that we've got so many people that, we've got, let's say, maybe 5 personal projects, and every single ranger has like people to help them on those projects. And every time we get a tip in, we're like, okay, who's coming with us? Are you coming? Or do you guys want to go and do a patrol instead? Or like, have classes for recruits where we have, so many recruits around that we've got so many rangers around as well that we can just have everyone together in like the one place at the one time. I think would be really, really nice. Just a constant group of people all around at all hours, Yeah.
So you're saying Buzz is like Luke Skywalker right now trying to rebuild the Jedi Academy. I get it. I get it. Okay.
Yes.
That doesn't put any pressure on me whatsoever. But no, that is something, and that's what I'm actually loving about some of the people we're getting in the off hours and the quiet hours, is that we are almost at a point where we could almost have rangers around 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time. So it's very exciting. I mean, I know some things have been, adapted so that it's easier means to get in. But on top of that, it's also, it provides more story. It provides chances for bigger interactions. And honestly, there are going to be people that fall upon the wayside, or also people that leave because of becoming unlawful. But that's just the choice that these people decide to take the characters. And we can only respect it and hopefully enjoy the ride with them.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of it is also there's a balance of how do we forgive but also not be pushovers, and that's when it can get slightly shaky.
Definitely.
So
yeah.
Are there any questions you have for me? in proper Ranger interview style.
Let me see. So when are you going to decide to give Buzz just an absolute story shield and he can never ever die, and make that part of his story so he can never get down, so I never have to lose Buzz, because he just has to stay. Just no, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, I suppose what's
so
what do you
actually
hope is next for
well, I did have ideas. If he did end up retiring from the Rangers, I've told a couple people this in character too, because it would be absolutely fantastic. So Buzz would end up becoming, my secondary or my third character, and he'd only come around on like Fridays, once every 2 or 3 weeks. He'd go live up in the mountains or something, and he'd come down into town. If there were any new people on the server that wanted to learn how to hunt, people, he'd spread the word. Go learn from old man Buxton. He'll teach you how to hunt. And so Buzz would end up going out with this person, teach him how to hunt and everything. And at the end of it, he would give them the Lancaster rifle he had. But he would say, this was my best friend's rifle. After he died, I made a pledge to always look after it, keep it well-oiled, fire it true. But I see such I see so much in you that I saw in my friend, and I think he would be honored if you had it, if you looked after it and used it when you go out hunting. That guy, like, he would do something like that. But he would do this every 2 weeks with different people. So eventually, one day, there would be at least 4 to 5 people in a saloon somewhere, and somebody would go, hey man, that's a nice looking Lancaster. Where'd you get it? And they go, oh, this was old man Buxton's best friend's gun. And another guy further down the bar goes, no. I got old man Buxton's best friend's gun. And another guy walks in through the saloon doors and goes, no, I have his best friend's gun. And meanwhile, Buzz is just up in the mountains laughing his ass off. And he freezes to death and dies or something. And but that would just be the ultimate final joke. And like,
it is actually really good.
It would be fantastic. It would be so great. It would be such a perfect. It would just be that last little final joke, where if I knew that was going on somewhere, Buzz would fall. Buzz would be sleeping, and the second everybody either had a fight or a melee or something in the bar over whose gun was the real one, Buzz would just die in his sleep. So, but in terms of, I was going to say in terms of reality, but we're talking about roleplay characters. Buzz is just seeing how right now it doesn't look like he doesn't feel like he's in the way. But there may come a time where he will feel that way. Criminals are also getting worse and worse. So something could happen there. Buzz is looking at how the crossing is changing and seeing how the Rangers can adapt for it in terms of either, we've got Nathan wanting to come back. We've got Isla wanting to come back now. And Buzz is now of the mind of, is this going to make us look weak in the public eye? Is this going to make us feel weak because we're letting people back? Or is this exactly what we need to do? Because we need to prove that people can forgive. People can give another person a 10th or 11th chance to contribute, to be a better person, that kind of thing. And that's what I think, it's up to even Law. If you watch a lot of Law, they just carry this heavy, heavy burden of like, my best friend, you know, I watched my best friend die in a shootout, or I wasn't able to, I got one criminal, but I couldn't get them all and stuff. But there needs to be those people that are out there remaining positive and trying to be as inspirational as you know, how many, this has happened a ton of times when Buzz has found people. Like, people say, I tried to hold on as long as I could because I know you guys would find me. That kind of thing, you know, and that's really encouraging, even on an OOC, from an OOC standpoint as well, from an out of character standpoint. It's like, these people had a feeling that Rangers were clocked in, and it was just a matter of time that we'd find them. And then they channeled it inside their character as well, which, you know, and that just fuels our fire in character, where it's like, these people stuck around because they knew we were good at what we could do, and we could get them, rescue them and get them to safety, that kind of thing. And by them holding out, it's the epitome of hope and what the Rangers stand for. So, what power do Rangers have dealing with criminals, especially ones that have robbed them? I mean, if there's a standoff again, what power do Rangers have dealing with criminals? I mean, if there's like 5 Rangers and 5 criminals roll up on them and all have their guns out, it's up to the people if they want to defend themselves or not. But you have more than enough right to defend yourself. If there's 5 Rangers and 4, it's either you try to de-escalate or you try to talk them out of it. But if they aren't prepared to if they expect to walk away with your money and guns, you have more than enough right to defend yourself. But you can't go after them trying to get your stuff back, because that's just vigilantism. We sadly have to put our faith in the law, and I don't mean sadly in a bad way, but it's we have to be those people that trust in the law and say the law is going to get our stuff back. But it also comes to the criminals to have our stuff. You don't have to go out and rob 10 people in one day. You should go out and rob one group, and then you either try to sell those guns or you try to have those guns on you. So if you do get caught, they go back to their people. They're not just props. They could have stories behind them, that kind of thing. So little things like that. I hope that answers the question. But if we see them doing something, if we see them doing something bad, we can't jump in and, you know, if they're kidnapping somebody, we can't surround them and try to do things, and try to talk. I mean, we could surround them and talk them out of it, but if we tried to like shoot them down or something, that's total vigilantism. That's like an immediate dismissal from the Ranger program. Even taking criminal storytelling is beautiful. Absolutely. Abso-freaking. But a lot of it is, say a criminal has taken your rifle. They got caught. They go to Sisika for a whole host of crimes and stuff. When they come back out and you run into them again, I would say, hey, I heard you did some time in Sisika for all that stuff. You know, are you doing better since you're out? Because if you're just going to have a criminal that goes to Sisika and treats it like a vacation and then comes out and does the exact same thing, where's the character growth? We try to give people the benefit of the doubt. We really try to. For instance, Forrest Fish, who is now known as Murrieta, he came into Strawberry at one point, and Clementine immediately did not like him. They had a history and stuff, and Clementine was very confrontational. She did not do anything to de-escalate. And so other people showed up, a few law, some Rangers, and they were all telling Murrieta to leave. They were like, just leave, man. We don't want you here. Just leave. And he's like, oh, you want me to leave, huh? So he leaves. He comes back with his friends, Charles Devine and everything, and everybody draws guns. Luckily, Bear ended up having just a fisticuffs with Charles Devine to kind of settle any problem. But after all that, anytime Buzz saw Murrieta slash Forrest Fish, for context, Buzz always treated them with kindness. And I'm waiting for the moment where Ross, if we're around again, or, Ross and Fiverr, or Marietta and Fiverr, if they ever come around and they're like, you've always, why do you treat us nice? It's Buzz would easily say, I saw how people treated you, when they treated you poorly and how you reacted, which you had every right to, because Buzz came into the conversation about halfway through. So he couldn't really steer it all that well. I didn't feel it was my place. It was already a path that was being very, very trampled down. But Buzz took it as, all right, I see what happens when people are mean to him or mean to them. So Buzz made a promise to himself. He goes, anytime I see them again, I'm going to be nice and see what that does. Not in terms of, is there going to be a reward, but it's like, no. So that if a point ever comes where, Marietta goes to rob Buzz, he would probably bring that up. And he would say, you remember all those times? Because I saw how they treated you then. And I made a pledge to myself to always treat you guys kindly. And just to see. Honestly, I do little experiments all the heckin' time. It's not based out of Buzz fearing them or anything. It's like, no, I just saw you got the short end of the stick. So I'm going to invite a little kindness into your life and see what happens with that. That is why I and Eliana love Buzz so very much. I think it's just because I'm an old man IRL too, is that I try to look at the bigger scheme of things. And if I do, I try to either spin it on its head or just experiment, see what can happen. So what anything else Floral? Wait, what time is it for you?
Oh, it's okay. It's only like 22 past 11. Like at night.
But when does stuff happen for you tomorrow?
Well, like, I don't know exactly. Probably like 1 or 2, so I'm fine. But I'll probably hop in and do some ranger stuff before I go.
All right.
Probably.
Okay, I'll just double check. I want to make sure you get sleep, and also you're going to eat something.
I will. I did actually.
Perfect. Excuse me. What? Excuse what, Aaron? Oh, here we go. I think they're typing ferociously right now. But I do want to thank you so much for being our guest today. This has been...
Thank you so much.
We are scheduled for Cat Eliana time. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. There can be both. There can be both.
Yeah, there's both.
There can be both. For those that might have just come in or don't know who FloralFoxes is, they play Game Warden Cat Carver as well as a host of other characters on the server, but they are an amazing artist. So please go support them on their Ko-Fi. They make amazing, amazing, amazing art. And I have to thank you because you, as I said, in character, out of character, knowing you're around is just a complete delight. You always make me smile as Buzz and as me. You're absolutely, no, you are. You're an absolute gem. You're absolutely wonderful. Yeah. I never thought when you first joined that like they would get that close or anything. So it's been an amazing journey. You're a wonderful talent. As I've said, as an artist, as a role player, as a person, you're absolutely.
Oh no, that's so cute.
That's okay. I'm gonna kick you out of the call so that you can cry. Okay.
Thank you.
Floral, I will see you shortly, probably in the server.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much. FloralFoxes, ladies and gentlemen. Please give them all the love. Give them all the heckin' love. All right, I'll see you in a bit.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.